As you can already tell, this is a signature day in the life of Lenoir-Rhyne University and her athletics. And first I want to welcome you on behalf of our president. You've heard me introduce him before as Wayne B., as in beautiful Powell. He's on university business out of state, but he's in this room with his presence. And there is another president here today, and his name is Fred T., as in terrific, Brown. Fred, would you wave to us? Fred is the president of the Piedmont Education Foundation, doing business as our Bears Club. And this is the team behind the team, and you're in the boardroom, as you can see perhaps over the very top of the media backdrop, that this is the Piedmont Education Foundation's boardroom. So there are many of dignitaries here, most of them sitting right here in front of you, me I should say, but I do want to bring a couple to your attention. First of all, the great, and Alan, one of the great tributes that I could imagine that you're paying today, not only to Lenoir-Rhyne, but much more importantly, to Ryan Odom. Would you all please welcome Alan Major. And to your left, with a little bit larger resume, if I may say, the father and the grandfather of two in the building, his head coach, Len Odom, and the legendary Coach Dave Odom. Odoms will welcome you. I'm going to let Ryan introduce his family when it's time, but as always, speaking in metaphors, I want you to think about a couple of things. One, we're in the education business. And as Norm would tell you, there is no end of one's education. And that's an everyday occurrence. But in the life of a student athlete, whomever he or she is, interscholastically or intercollegiately, there are a finite number of grains of sand in one's eligibility. And as we tell our student athletes on a regular basis, this is one of the most precious things that they will ever in their whole life possess. I'll tell you candidly, I miss mine. But also, these grains of sand can indicate timing. And timing is often unique. There are many, many great people, men and women, who had extraordinary leadership capabilities, but timing did not put their talent in congruence with the opportunity. So if Ryan Odom were still the associate head coach at Charlotte, or had he succeeded Coach Mayer, we may not be in this room. But I want to just make it clear to you that timing, like a beautiful woman or business, is the key to all things. The key to all things. So it was this fabulous moment of time and the resignation of one of the great iconic coaches in the history of Lenoir-Rhyne, John Lentz, who we celebrate today, 400 plus wins. Timing, according to his comments in the paper, was right for him, and timing is right for Lenoir-Rhyne. And this extraordinary, honed and prepped his entire life for this moment. You're going to be handed, if you haven't already, by John Cars, a short cover announcement and bio. You know that he spent, first of all, he grew up in the shadow of Lynn and her above average husband as a teacher and coach. I saw Dave work throughout his career, an extraordinary tactician, and he knew how to win. And that's, at the end of the day, what we think that young Ryan Odom will bring us. An attitude and an adaptability to win. So on the first Monday of every August, we convene all of our head coaches and assistant coaches, and graduate assistants and trainers, and we remind them that we at Lenoir-Rhyne are in pursuit of a national championship. And the question of them, we have 22 intercollegiate sports, is which of them will be the first to bring us our second national championship? We've had one, 1960. Many of you in this room were not even above ground. We celebrate that, but it's time for another one. So Ryan knows that one brick at a time, one step at a time, that we are in pursuit of excellence and ultimately of a national championship. As my turn, I want you to know that there is an expectation among our coaches and staff and student athletes that we're going to be successful. And I think that's a good thing, because it all starts at the end of the day. Perhaps more important than even your personal religion or whatever is one's attitude. And if that is the prevailing attitude, then I think we're already on the way to being very successful. So we have the right man at the right place at the right time, and I'd ask you to join me in a warm Lenoir-Rhyne welcome for the next head basketball coach of Lenoir-Rhyne University, Ryan Odom. Absolutely.
Go Bears. Go Bears. Let's go. So begins the transition from a tiger, a Hampton-Sydney tiger, to now Lenoir-Rhyne bear. Two glorious animals, both aggressive, and I'm excited to be here. And nobody does what he just did better than him. I've seen a lot of them, and I'm just humbled that he was the one that delivered it for me on my first occasion, because I've watched him introduce Michael Jordan. I've watched him introduce John McEnroe. I mean, he's introduced them all, you name it. And I'm extremely humbled to have him introduce me today. And I'm thankful for the opportunity, to be here. I've got a few notes that'll get me along my way and get me moving here to talk a little bit about myself, Lenoir-Rhyne, and why now, and obviously an opportunity to introduce my family. But I want to start first and foremost by thanking Dr. Powell. I know he couldn't be here today, out on business, but my meeting with him during the interview process, right in his office, was nothing short of tremendous. Everyone in this room has had interaction, knows him well, I'm sure, and knows that he is a tremendous family man, a tremendous educator, and a leader. And I'm excited to be here at Lenoir-Rhyne, and I'm excited to follow in his vision and help the basketball program here and our student athletes achieve great things. And they certainly deserve that, and it all starts with him. Second, I want to thank Neil McGahey. When the phone call came initially from him, I was immediately intrigued. Number one, I'm familiar, grew up in the area, familiar with Lenoir-Rhyne and all that it has to offer, but was more familiar with him, of course. And, he's a guy that has walked the campus as a student athlete, played 3 sports. Now he's a guy that has returned and come back and grown to love Lenoir-Rhyne as much as any of you, all right, and some more. This is his school, in his heart. And, in time, I know it was immediate. I could tell his passion for her was extremely evident. We had multiple conversations, several meetings, obviously the interview process here, but it was easy to see why he loves it here. All right, once the opportunity presented itself for me to come and visit, meet the wonderful people here in each department, obviously starting with Dr. Powell, I'm confident that as I walk forward here at Lenoir-Rhyne, I'm going to love her every bit as much as you do. And I have you to thank for this. So let's give him a round of applause for the steps that he's taking. I want to introduce my family here. I start out, of course, none more important than Lucia. I want to give her a round of applause because yesterday was our 15th anniversary. So you could give her a round of applause for putting up with me for 15 years so far. She's my rock, she's my everything, and she's so supportive. And I love her more than anything in this world. And then Connor Odom is my 13-year-old boy, and love him more than anything in the world, and he's excited. He's been asking me every day, Dad, where's the next program? Where are we going? Just in due time, my man, every day, all right? He's not the only one, I know, but he's really excited. Told all of his buddies at school yesterday, so they were all giving him high fives and hugging him, and he's excited to be coming to Hickory. What's your name, big fella? That's young Owen. Owen is my 8-year-old boy, and he's a fire plug. You'll see him yelling at the refs. He'll probably be yelling at me too. But he loves basketball, loves other sports as well, and he's just fun to be around. And these two right here are my rock as well. Sorry to get emotional, but Mom, Dad, you mean the world to me. You know that. And I thank you for all your support and years of support. And we're gonna get this thing done, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So thank you for helping me grow as a person. Thank you for teaching me all about life. It's not all about wins and losses. It's about how you attack it every single day. And you certainly have taught me that. And my brother, Lane, he couldn't be here today. He's taking care of his daughter. I mean, he's a guy that, he's 7 years my elder. And, he's a guy that I call every day. We talk every day. And I love him too. I wish he could have been here, but he'll be at plenty of the games. You can count on that. But that's my family, and they're the reason that I'm here. I'm able to do this. And because without the support of your family, as any coach, there are plenty of coaches here in the room, they can easily tell you it's not possible. All right, you've got to have that family support, that rock. All right, they're willing to let you spend hours in the office, days on the road, all right, and still, all right, be right there supporting you, be there for you when you get home. And for that, I'm very thankful, and I'm extremely fortunate, extremely lucky for them. My first message to the players at Lenoir-Rhyne, I had the pleasure, which is not always typical during the interview process, where you're able to sit down. It was actually in this room right here. We're able to sit down with the players of the current roster. And I came out of that meeting enthused, excited about what's to come, about the possibilities, about the opportunity. Because it was evident in talking to each one of them. And I went right around the room. It was a board table, and they were lined up, right around the board table. I'm obviously at one side. And I talked to each and every one of them about their summer plans, about what Lenoir-Rhyne means to them, the basketball program, and how determined they are to see it go where they want it to go. And I walked out enthused, as I said, because they want to win. It's evident. These guys are committed. They want to do well, and I'm excited. I'm telling you right now, I chose them. They didn't necessarily choose me. Now it's my job, all right, to earn their trust, all right, to do my best for them, all right, to give them the best experience that they can have while they're in college. Because, like Neil said, the hourglass it's going, all right, it's ticking. Time is ticking, and they're only here but for so long. Several of them will be seniors. It'll be their last go-round, and then obviously you're going to have some newcomers as well. All right, but my first job is to earn their trust, all right, and to get to know them. And I'm excited about the opportunity to do that. And I'm excited about who they are as people. I chose Lenoir-Rhyne as well. All right, the opportunity here at Lenoir-Rhyne is tremendous. The tradition, Coach Lentz was here for 29 years. There are very few schools that you can look across the country, all right, and say that a coach was there for that amount of time and had the success, all right, that he was able to have. And the coaches before him. 22, all right, postseason appearances, all right, 19 conference championships. The history is here, all right. It's time to get back to that, all right, and continue that and build on that in search of that next national championship, all right, for our fine university. I'm going to give it my all, right? I'm going to give it my all each and every day. All right, I'm excited and blessed for this opportunity. My goals for the players, I want to help them max out in 3 simple areas. All right, the first one, all right, which is the most important while they're here, all right, is academically. I want to help them max out academically. All right, do the best that they can do. All right, prepare them for life after college. Their parents entrust them, all right, to us as coaches. Well, there's no one for us to hand that off to, all right, as they go out into the real world once they finish college. All right, so I don't take that job lightly. All right, that's why they're here. They're here to get an education. They're here to grow. They're here to improve. And I want to help them with that. Second, obviously, is from a basketball perspective. I want to help them achieve their goals. Individual goals, yes. All right, improve their games individually. Maybe just as an example, maybe there's a guy who doesn't shoot it as well as he wants to. Well, I'm going to get in the gym, all right, and help him become a better shooter. Does that all of a sudden mean he's going to shoot it like Steph Curry? Probably not, but it's not going to be because I didn't give my all in trying to help that young man do that. And then what happens is if you are able to help them with a specific skill on the basketball court, now all of a sudden that skill becomes an asset for your basketball program, for your overall team. And then that's how you put it together. Development from a basketball perspective. So I want to help them become the best basketball player that they can be. All right, and attack that every single day. That's why I coach those 2 areas. Then the last, all right, could be the most important. All right, it's as a person, making sure that they represent Lenoir-Rhyne, making sure that they represent themselves, represent their families, all right, in a positive way. All right, so that's the third way. I want to help them max out, become the best person, best human being that they can be. And those are the 3 areas that we're going to attack every single day. Goals for the basketball program, and certainly we all want to win. I'm not going to base my success, all right, all on wins and losses because I believe that you learn from both. All right, that's how you attack life. All right, life throws you all kinds of curves along the way. All right, if you just win every game, all right, you're not going to be prepared because then it's going to smack you right in the face. So there are going to be losses, all right, but hopefully there's going to be a lot more wins. All right, we're going to let those losses drive us. We're going to learn from them, and we're going to move on, all right, and become better. But I want to compete for championships. It starts with conference championships, and then it goes on into national championships. So our first mindset has got to be to win our conference. All right? Are you going to do that each and every year? Is that realistic? Not many teams do that. All right, but that's the goal. You start with that in mind and you attack it every single day like that's what you want. All right, and then it becomes a reality for you. I spoke about the history here. I want to also thank, change subjects here a little bit. I want to thank all of my mentors. I've worked for some great coaches. One surprised me today. I didn't know that he was coming. And I appreciate you giving him a nice round of applause. But I've learned so much from that gentleman right there. We came together. Were introduced by one of the other assistants that worked on our staff at Charlotte. And we've become best friends. You know, we text all the time, even though we're not directly working together anymore. But there's not a better human being, all right, in the world than that guy right there. And I'm so appreciative of everything that he taught me during my time at Charlotte. And I could go on down the list. I've worked for some great coaches, and they know who they are. They've impacted my life dramatically, as has my father from a basketball perspective, of course. But I've been very fortunate. I grew up in a home, all right, where basketball was all we thought about. So I would come home at night after his games, and I would sit on the couch, much like these two do, and say, well, why'd you do that? I mean, why didn't you take him out of the game? You should have taken him out he got his third foul, But now it's his turn. He does it to me. So he sits in the stands with these guys, and why'd he do that? So the tables have turned. So if you see him during the season, all right, this coming year on the side over there all nervous, just take him a water, try to calm him down a little bit, take him for a walk, all right, then then reinsert him back into the game. He'll get back into it, soon after. But I do want to thank all my mentors. I want to thank all the former players, that I've coached over the years, because I'm not standing here, all right, if it's not for them. All right, so and I'm not talking about the guys that I coached that scored the most points, all right, got the most assists or the most steals. It's each and every one of them. It's the walk-ons that I coached, all right. It's the best players. It's everybody, all right, because each and every one taught me something, all right, and that's why I'm standing here today. The ability to connect with an individual and help them get where they want to go, all right, help them when they're struggling, when their academics are really tough and they can't get themselves to go to one more tutor, and you got to find a way to get them to get over there to the tutor. Well, I remember all of that. And I'm thankful, for the interaction. I'm thankful for their hard work each and every day at every stop I've made along these 18 years. And most importantly, I'm excited about Lenoir-Rhyne. I'm excited about the move to Hickory and joining, the fellow coaches here at Lenoir-Rhyne in pursuit, of greatness. And I look forward to getting going. And I'll wrap it up. Any questions or anything that anyone would like to ask?
Well, Ryan, it's obvious you can recruit.
There's no doubt. Yeah, no question. No question. That was my first initial recruit, and there's no doubt. What do you say? I outkicked my coverage, on that one, without a doubt. But I'm excited to be here, and I thank you all for showing up. This is a tremendous turnout, and I'm excited to get going tomorrow.
What's your expectations for your first year?
Expectations are real simple. I mean, I kind of mentioned it. I mean, we want to try to compete for a championship each and every year, and we've got work to do, and we'll get right to it. I know the guys are on summer break now, and my first job is to get in contact with them, make sure that they know all about me. We develop a rapport with each other, and we kind of go from there. But I'm excited about what's to come.
Have you had a chance to talk yet about the staff, or what you're going to try to do?
I have, and I haven't made any hires at this point yet. I wanted to kind of get through this process, but absolutely, there's nothing more important, than hiring the right staff, the right fit, not only for me, but also for Lenoir-Rhyne going forward, and it's extremely important. We've talked, at length, about options, and I'll attack that as well as getting to know our players right away.
Coach Mager, you have a comment or two?
I didn't come for a job. This came to support a friend, so they gave me a donor deal. I may donate before I leave.
There we go.
If you would, tell us 3 things about Ryan that we just have to know. Or would you be comfortable doing that?
3 things.
What? 2 things.
Well, no, this day is about Ryan, so I didn't want to have much to say at all. But when I hired him, the number one thing that I personally felt our staff needed was coaches who were great husbands and great fathers, because whatever you are at home, that's what you're going to give to your players. And as I got to know him, and I knew the challenges that we had to face at Charlotte were just to help guys grow. you know, from go to class, be consistent, some days pull your pants up, you know, but that's the first thing about him. He's a tremendous husband and father, and so the players on this roster are going to get somebody that's deeply committed, just the way he is to his family. I think he's a born leader. Probably doesn't give himself, as I got to know him, enough credit for that because of his humility. Always, everybody would have to figure out who his dad was because he would be the last to tell him, which is just, to me, a great quality. And basketball-wise, he's ready for this challenge. I think everything that's happened to him in this 18 years is, as Neil said, prepped him for this day. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm shutting up, but I'm just thrilled to death for him.
Thanks for being here, my man.
Ryan, has anybody talked to you about the importance of the community in Lenoir-Rhyne? You know,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Hickory's a really unusual situation. And, you know,
Absolutely.
You're involved in the community, the more the community embraces you.
No question. And you know, I've experienced that everywhere I've been. You know, one in particular situation that was very similar was, you know, Virginia Tech, different scale. You know, Virginia Tech was a very large university, all right, but the town was very small, all right. So everywhere that you went around that town, someone had a Virginia Tech shirt on, all right, and immediately, all right, we embraced, you know, the community there. We got out into the community, and you know, it was a love situation, and you know, I don't think that this is much different. You know, I think that naturally you're going to have, you know, fans here in the area are going to want to support, you know, not only the basketball program, but the lacrosse program, the baseball program, the football program, the soccer, all the different sports that we have here. And, you know, it makes it a family type atmosphere. And you see, you know, the same people, your friends, you know, when you go to the grocery store, you know, you go out and about, and, you know, that's a positive thing to me. I mean, that's something that I certainly want for my family. You know, Charlotte's a little bit different. Charlotte, you know, is a little bit bigger city, so it's a little bit more spread out. Like even Alan and I lived, you know, pretty far from each other, probably 20 minutes away. And we were similar distance to the school, but a little more disconnect. One's not better than the other, but I'm excited about what is here in Hickory. I mean, tremendous, and the surrounding area. You know, tremendous opportunity to get out and meet people, and I'm definitely going to do that.
Well, thank you all. Hope you'll get the chance to introduce yourselves individually.
Absolutely.
Very delighted to have you, sir. Yes, sir. First time back.
Ben, what time is it? You got it.
There we go.